Rise of Nations tips. These are tips for the video game Rise of Nations. Some buildings have defensive capabilities. Try to build these where you will fight the enemy. For example, don't build them along the border. Try to build them in choke points and make sure that they're within range of each other. And a choke point is the space between a hill and a forest or a lake. And you want them to be within range of each other so that if one of them gets attacked, another building will be able to defend it. And ideally, you'll have two buildings on either side defending it. Build your buildings along the border so they're more difficult to reach. So most of your buildings, like your farmland, your library, etc., build them along the border so that the enemy has to go further in order to have access to them. Lumberjacks and mines have to be built near the resources, but obviously you're going to build them on the side close to your town and close to your defense. It's better to build close together so your defensive buildings can protect your entire town. So you want to pick the ideal spot, which is going to be near the forest and mines, close to the border, and build everything as tightly packed together as possible. And then have your defensive buildings nearby, and it will be easier to defend your town in general. Archers are good for defense along with spearmen because obviously spearmen can throw their spears. Try to build the maximum amount of buildings in each town, including a wonder. So each town can have, let's say, 5 farms, a library, a university, a wonder, etc. Try to build the maximum number before you go on to building the next town. Make sure you research everything available from every building. Some of them provide large bonuses. Some of the buildings, when you research, get huge bonuses like 25% or more for things like farm production. You want to make sure you research all of that, including creating scholars. If you want to build your economy, the fastest way to do it is by founding a new city. Founding a new city can have a huge impact. For example, your second city can double the size of your economy. You go and you build as much food production as you have, you build as many citizens as you have, you start to obtain all the natural resources like wood and minerals, then you build all the buildings and you advance your technological research. You just keep on repeating and repeating, repeating. Make sure you have the maximum number of traders. They will automatically build wealth by visiting your markets. In general, don't build a military early in the game. I've always done it without building a military, but you can do it if you want to. If you know how to defend your town by garrisoning your citizens into defensive buildings, you'll be able to protect your town early in the game. Building towns produce a lot of wealth. Build them quickly where they are easily defended. It's possible to win the game without building a military. For example, you can win by building the most wonders or by claiming the most territory. If you have an ally, you can place units in allied territories such as defensive towers. So, for example, if you have an ally, you can go into his territory, build defensive towers. You will always own those towers. If he declares war on you, then your towers will start attacking his units. For example, if you have air defense near his airbase, he won't be able to launch or land his aircraft. So if you have an ally and you suspect he might turn against you, go and put defensive towers and air defense throughout his territory where you think it's going to have the biggest impact. Okay, so those are my tips on Rise of Nations. If you want more, you can go to cheapbooks.cc or go to cheapbooks.com, click on the forum, look for the video games forum, or you can go to the search box and look for Rise of Nations.